It's no secret that dragons had a strong craving for riches, going as far as to attack and plunder kingdoms to claim their treasure as their very own. These dragon hordes would often end up causing much more trouble and conflict after the dragon was slain, for the gold and riches they would leave behind would attract many people, especially greedy ones. Some called this dragon sickness, an intense love for gold. Was it simply due to greed? Or was there something much more sinister at work? Some magic linked to the dragon itself? Hello friends, it's Carl here, and in today's episode we'll be discussing dragon sickness. So we encounter dragon sickness various times throughout the books, the most well-known case being that of Smaug, the dragon that attacked the dwarven stronghold of Erebor and stole their treasure. During the events of The Hobbit, Bilbo comes across this treasure and the sight of it overwhelms him. He couldn't focus on anything else apart from the pile of gold and riches that lay before him, and he stood completely motionless, enthralled by it, because for the first time in his life, he was filled with an intense craving for treasure. We're told that his heart was filled and pierced with enchantment, and he gazed at this pile of riches, almost forgetting about the dragon that lay upon it. Eventually, almost against his will, he was drawn to the nearest pile of gold, where he stole a great golden cup that was as heavy as he could carry. Now, stealing treasure that lay beneath a dragon is quite unexpected coming from a hobbit, as they're known to have a very logical, safe approach, often referred to as hobbit sense. Even the way it's described makes it sound like there was some other force at play, since Bilbo was drawn almost against his will, and his heart was enchanted and captivated by the treasure. This treasure would also have an effect on his dwarven companions, a much more profound one, and it almost led to war between the dwarves and the elves of Mirkwood and men of Laketown, for this treasure lay heavy on Thorin's heart, and he was ready to risk war and starvation rather than give a small part of it to his enemies. Once again, a more sinister force than greed seems to be playing a part here, and Tolkien says that Bilbo kept his head more clear of the bewitchment of the Horde than the dwarves did, and that the bewilderment of the treasure was so strong upon Thorin that he hoped to recover the Arkenstone with Dane's help without having to give any of his treasure away. And all of this leads to the question, what caused the treasure to have such an effect, to overcome logic with greed? It's clearly linked to the dragons, and it appears that when a dragon gathers a pile of treasure and sleeps on it, it somehow makes people greedier for it. This is backed up by the following quote: "He did not reckon with the power that gold has, upon which a dragon has long brooded." Now this dragon sickness could affect any race, for after the Battle of the Five Armies, Bard gave a significant amount of gold to the men of Laketown to help them rebuild their homes. However, the master of Laketown took most of this gold and fled with it, and he ended up dying alone of starvation, and Tolkien says that he was the type of person that would fall easily under dragon sickness. Another possible example could be that of Scatha the Wurm, a great dragon that lived in the north. Now Scatha had stolen a treasure hoard from the dwarfs, and he was later slain by Fram, a lord of the Ayatheod, the forefathers of Rohan. After hearing that their treasure was free from the dragon, the dwarfs claimed that it was theirs, though Fram refused to give them even the slightest of trinkets. Instead, he sent them a necklace made of Scatha's teeth and insulted them, and the dwarfs would later slay him for this insult. Now I think the most interesting question here is what caused dragon sickness? What did the dragons have that caused them to have this effect on gold? And I think the answer lies with Morgoth, their master. Now Morgoth was the first Dark Lord and Sauron's master, and he spread out his power and corruption throughout all the matter that made up Middle-earth. Now some materials and elements attracted Morgoth's corruption more than others, and according to Tolkien, all gold in Middle-earth seemed to have an evil trend. So there was something in gold that attracted Morgoth's corruption, and in my last video we established that Morgoth had poured some of his power, his very spirit, into dragons. So since we know that gold attracted Morgoth's corruption, that dragons were infused with Morgoth's spirit and power, and that dragon sickness was linked to treasure upon which a dragon has rested on for a long period of time, I think there's a very clear theory to be made. What if Morgoth's influence and corruption passed from the dragons into the gold or had some effect on it that caused it to awaken a strong sense of greed in people? This would explain why dragon sickness would only occur if a dragon had rested on treasure for a long period, as it would take time for Morgoth's corruption to pass into the gold. Just to be clear, this is simply my own speculation, though I think it fits together quite nicely. Also, regarding dragon sickness, it appears that it affected people to different degrees, and the greedier a person was, the heavier they would feel its effect. For example, out of the dwarfs, it affected Bombur, Fili, and Kili the least. And in Bombur's case, it was because he loved food and comfort, while Fili and Kili were the youngest dwarfs, and they had other interests besides treasure, such as music. We even see that when the dwarfs saw the treasure again, they all went to gather gems and gold, while Fili and Kili found 2 harps, and they started to play music. Anyway friends, this wraps up today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic. I think it's quite a fascinating part of the mythology to discuss, so leave a comment below telling me what you think. If you're interested, check out our Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, Discord, and Lootbox links in the video description. Also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, cause it helps this channel immensely, and subscribe to join our fellowship today. I hope to see you all in my next video, where together we'll once again explore the magical world and lore of Middle-earth.